Hello.
Hi.
I think today we're going to talk about sales and is it a dirty word?
Ooh, dirty word,
Right.
sales. It can be. It
Right?
can
It can
be.
be. Because a lot of sales professionals avoid it, right? I mean, if I ask a full executives, are you in sales? They say no. No, I'm not in sales.
Not me.
But
Not
if I
me.
ask how they win clients, how they pitch investors, how you attract employees, how you evaluate partnerships, that's sales.
Every day.
Every day. But there's
Right.
this stereotype of like sales is a dirty word. Like I'll go by business development or account manager or client relationship advocate.
Ooh, that one is shady. That's funny. That's funny.
But it's
Yeah,
not sales. So yeah, what
it
is
is.
it?
It's I think that people dislike the word sales because they have those old stereotypes or they've had a bad experience. You come across a couple pushy salespeople in your life and you're like, I want nothing to do with that salesperson because he's trying to sell me. What about even movies? You see it parodied in movies all the time.
Right, right. You see these like fast talking, loud laughing dudes in suits. And you're like, oh,
Suits.
walk away.
Right? I have a sign on my garage door that says, no salespeople, only friends, family, and Amazon deliveries. And they ignore it. They come, they ring their doorbell, they make my dog crazy. I'm like, go away, salespeople. Nobody wants to be in sales.
Right, right. And people hate being sold to, but they love to buy.
They do love to buy. I love to buy. Do you love to buy?
I love to buy.
Oh, crazy.
So let's see,
Crazy.
what's a sales experience that's maybe turned you off from the word of sales? Because I think that's what it comes down to. I think people have bad experiences in sales. I mean, we've all bought cars, we've all bought maintenance for our homes, we buy, these different things.
I have had some like home improvement kind of nightmares that have happened where I got sold at one of those home shows. Have you ever been to one of those home shows where they're hawking you to come into their booth and then they
Right,
won't let you go? It's like, oh, it's
right.
crazy.
It's always like you're walking down the street and they're handing you the menu. And you're like, I
Yeah.
know if I take it, I'm stuck. I had the same thing happen to me the other day. One of those pest control companies came by and then he's like the third one that's knocked on the door, right? So he's trying to hand me his phone and show it to me. And I know the drill, so I don't take the phone. I say this. I look and I say, But I put my hands in my pockets because the second I have that phone in my hand, now I got to give it back to him, and he's going to put his hands in his pocket.
That's right. That's right.
I think these are the kind of sales tactics that all of us think about when we think of sales. And so I think it
Yeah,
does become a dirty word.
it
As
does.
somebody who teaches sales and who was in sales for my entire career, I think a lot of people cringe. I've been to plenty of networking events and said, I teach sales, and people go, oh,
Stay away from her.
I gotta get water. I'm gonna drink
That's
some
funny.
water. But
That's funny.
everyone is, right? If you're in business, even CEOs raising capital, founders pitching for investors, chief people officers recruiting employees, you're selling
Even
at that point you're selling your company. But yeah.
Right. Even a parent negotiating with their teenagers. That's the toughest sell you're going to come across. Or, when you're out networking, you're selling, your services, your abilities, you're selling yourself. I mean, I don't mean that to sound weird, but we really are.
And I think sales it's not convincing, it's not manipulating. It's discovering, it's uncovering, it's qualifying, it's understanding, it's building that mutual respect to see if there is enough of a pain point in that person's business, in their role, or on their teams, and we know that we can help them. And some of the best sales end with, you know what, we're not a fit. I've had those experiences, right? Experienced
Straight
personally.
clear into my heart.
You're
But
like, what I
sometimes it's
want
better, right? Sometimes it's better that way because, you're not wasting their time, they're not wasting your time. It's like, let's just, realize that we're not a fit for one another.
Yeah, Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I wanted to ask you this question. We talk about selling and salespeople, and when I think about that, I think about that salesperson that has to meet a monthly goal or a quarterly quota or yearly numbers, whatever that is. Can salespeople really be in sales if they don't have to meet quotas?
I think so. I mean, I think that most companies look at their employees and expect them to represent the company and what they do in a professional, clear way.
Have you ever felt, well, I know you have, but tell me about a time when you felt like you were being sold.
That's being sold too. I mean, there's a number of times, right? And I think the biggest ones are the ones that knock on my door. But I think some of the other experiences that I've had is, I would be looking over maybe a piece of software that we were going to integrate with a data set. And, they come in and they're telling like all the features and benefits. And I knew the price is at the top. And in my mind, I was thinking, I only need 3 things there. And the other, 9 are nice, but I'm not going to pay for 12 if I only need those 3, right? So they come in and they do features and benefits spill, and then it looks expensive to me. Whereas if we really would have focused on what were my needs, then we could have done something. And when I said, these are the 3 things I need, then they go into this defense mode of overcoming my objections and showing me all the ways that this works and all the cool things that it does and how. And I said to them a number of times, but I don't need that. I don't use that. And instead of moving on from that, sometimes they get caught in that argument of convincing. And again, sales isn't convincing, it's not manipulating. It's understanding, it's qualifying, it's uncovering.
And we've all had those, but you're a disc type C. So I can imagine you going in with all the numbers and the charts and that you've already done all your research, and I'm a disc style D. So I go in and I just want something pretty. And if it's red, I'll probably buy it. But if somebody tries to sell me on price, they're going to lose me. But the truth is, I think our head trash has taught us that we'll say anything to avoid being sold. We don't like being sold. We like buying, but we don't like being sold. And I did have an experience, actually, it was a number of years ago. I needed a new car. And my pain level was probably medium. I didn't need a new car, but I wanted to avoid a costly repair expense, and I liked the idea of having a new car. But I was working all the time. It was hard for me to get, and I didn't want to go to a car dealership and be sold. So I found a picture of a car in a newspaper. This is how long ago that was. And I was reading the newspaper. Right. And there's a picture of a car with a price that I liked. I called at the dealership. I'm like, is this car still available? They said, no, I'm sorry, it's not. I was getting, bait and switched. And the guy said to me, he said, just tell me what you're looking for. And he asked me some good questions, and I was honest with him. And he says, I've got a couple of cars. He says, I'm going to send you over some pictures and some stats and tell me what you're interested in. I'm like, okay, that's fine, except I'm not going to be able to get in there until next week because I'm just too busy at work. Now,
which, by the way, is a common objection. So, okay.
Common, and actually in my case it was true, but it was...
And I would say 50% of the time true, unfortunately.
Right. So this guy was smart enough to say, look, you're 3 miles down the road from me. He says, pick one of those cars, I'll drive it to you. You see if you like it, you test drive it. If I bring you a car and you like that car and the price is right, will you buy a car from me today? And I was just like taken aback. I wasn't sure whether to be offended or what. But I thought about it for a second and I said, you know what? I will buy a car from you if you meet what I need. And afterwards, and I did, I bought a car from him that day. And
was it red?
It wasn't. It was green. But it was kind of slick. I liked it. And the price was right. And he made it so easy for me. He made it really impossible for me to say no. And I thought about it again and again, and I thought, why are we so scared to say we're in sales? Because the truth is, you're not hiding it from anybody, but we like do this dance around the idea of sales, when in truth, if we're doing it right, if we're doing it with integrity, if we're doing it intentionally, what we're trying to do is help somebody fill a need. We're trying to help somebody ease a pain. And it shouldn't be such a bad thing.
Yes, I'm on a cruise recently with my family. My mom's in the jewelry shop buying a ring. She fell in love. Great. I'm not buying a ring, but I looked at a ring. So they pull all of the rings out. And I said, no, I'm not buying a ring. And he said, well, but no, you can just try it on. So I said, okay. And I actually made the mistake of trying it on. So I tried it on. And he said, what do you think? And I said, I think it looks exactly like the rest of my rings. But it's lovely. Right? Now that was code for, I own this ring.
Right. You are now committed for life.
But what he heard was, she's a buyer. So we go through this song and dance the whole time as I'm being second set of eyes for my mom as she buys this ring, this lovely ring. And as I'm walking out, I say, "All right, it's been good, thanks." And I pick up my phone and I stick it in my back pocket. And I walked out and I went and had dinner. We hung out on the cruise. We went down. We did some karaoke. We did some line dancing. We had the best time. 2 hours, maybe 90 minutes, 2 hours later, I pull out my phone. You know, on a cruise, you don't need to use your phone, right? You have no service.
No.
So I pull out the phone that I can't use, and I look at it, and that's not my phone.
They didn't.
I had picked up their phone. Now, let me tell you something. I know they did miss their phone in 2 hours. Yeah. They knew who had their phone. They knew I had to come back and give them their phone. So this is like...
And you were going to leave with a ring.
You're going to leave with a ring, right? And it was so funny. I sent it in with my daughter, and I said, go tell them, like, I'll see them tomorrow. And I did talk with them again, and I told them I think they did a great job. But those are the kind of sneaky little things that sales... I've had that happen twice to me.
But that's what gives salespeople a bad reputation.
Right, and let me tell you, both of those people were lovely people. The pest control company and the jewelers, they were lovely people. But it makes you hesitate the next time someone's at your door, right? Or the next time you're in a jewelry shop, you're like, oh, don't look too close. They're going to pull stuff out and I'm going to be trapped. And,
but let me ask you a question, Heather. Did those people find out your needs or your pain level before they started trying to sell you?
They absolutely did not. They did not. They came to the door and they were and it was, good point. No.
They were going to sell you what they had.
They were selling me because I had a pulse and a breath and I was in front of them. Yeah. But if they would have done any kind of qualifications, like, do I have a need? Is there a pain point? Do I have a budget for this? They would have known if they asked the right questions, they would have known in under 3 minutes, I'm not qualified for either of these purchases. I have a pest control company. You can't see any spider webs on my house when he looked around. If they would have asked those 3 questions, they would have known. And then they actually could have just moved on to the next person and not spent so much time with me, right? Because sometimes a no is great. Great, next. There are 1,000 other people that I can go and talk with. A no is I love a no.
Really quick, if they ask the questions, it really creates better discussions, so you're actually having the right conversations and not wasting your time.
Not wasting time trying to convince me of something that I don't have the budget, the time, the need for. Yes, if we're asking good questions and we're qualifying, we're discovering, we're building trust, we're looking, does my solution actually fit here? Can I solve a problem for them? Yeah.
Right. And that's what good salespeople do. So in honesty, if you're uncomfortable with sales, maybe the problem isn't sales. Maybe you've simply been shown the wrong version of it, and you need to learn what real, honest, authentic, ethical salespeople can do, and reframe that in your mind.
That is so true, because you can do sales without being sketchy.
There you go. We're not sketchy. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Have a good day. I hope you like, subscribe, do all the things, and have a wonderful day. And don't be afraid to say you're in sales.
Is your prospecting creating curiosity or resistance?